Good evening and thank you for being with us. An overnight fire has completely destroyed a building on Simpson Street.
Fire crews arrived on scene at 2 o'clock this morning, and although the flames are now under control, the scene is still being held by fire investigators. Alana Kroll reports.
Flames engulfed this building on the corner of Simpson and Robertson Street early Thursday morning, and the fire ended up spreading to at least 2 adjoining buildings along Simpson Street. Crews with Thunder Bay Fire Rescue were dispatched to the scene around 2 a.m. Platoon Chief John Kaplanis says they weren't able to conduct a full search for anyone who might have been caught inside.
First crews arriving on scene encountered heavy smoke and flame in the structure. They did make an attempt to do an interior search, however, we were pushed out of the building by the intensity of the fire, and we've been fighting it ever since in a defense strategy.
Kaplanis said it is unknown if the buildings were occupied. However, the owner of Bogdalis Smoked Meats right down the road talked to bystanders who said everyone got out and no one was hurt. He was working an overnight shift when he noticed the flashing lights outside his store. Although his building was safe from the actual flames, as a nearby property owner, he was also impacted.
And then after fire started getting heavy, smoke coming out, black. You couldn't even breathe out here because the wind was blowing this way.
Heavy smoke and flames were coming from the buildings for several hours, and crews expect the fire to smolder for several days. Approximately 40 firefighters responded to the fire overnight, close to the full complement of firefighters on duty in the city, and their efforts were able to save one building from damages.
The brick building on the very end of the overall block was occupied by looks like a religious ministry of some sort. We did manage to save that portion of the structure.
There is no word yet on the cause of the fire, which is under investigation by Thunder Bay Fire Rescue and the Ontario Fire Marshal's Office. Alana Pickerel, TBT News.
Now that fire has left 3 people without shelter, according to Thunder Bay Red Cross. An elderly individual and 2 other adults were staying in 2 apartment units inside the building on the corner of Simpson and Robertson, according to Red Cross officials. Their emergency response team was on site at around 4 o'clock in the morning to assist those who had been displaced by the flames. Red Cross steps in to help provide essentials for up to 3 days, but the residents do get plenty of options following a life-changing fire such as this one.
So we provide the food, shelter, and water for food, shelter, and clothing for 72 hours. So they get funding to purchase food, clothing, and then we secure shelter for the 72-hour period.
Where is that shelter secured?
It could be in a number of places. It could be a campground, hotel, motel, with friends or family.
After their 72 hours of assistance wraps up, the Red Cross counts on other organizations to step up to help, such as social services, nonprofit organizations, or insurance companies.